and it's really perpetuated by these record company owners that don't want the artists to get together and compare notes on them. Because if we could get together and compare notes, we might learn the game.
He died on Mr. Carter's birthday.
And Beyonce just did the halftime performance, and the license plate on that Cadillac was
Pimp C.
Thank you.
Sacrifice.
I got paid to be on Big Pimp. We didn't have that relationship. And to be honest, I don't think Pimp would have accepted a Jay-Z verse to be of equal value to him. So let's just break this bridge.
Just days before Pimp C was discovered lifeless in that Los Angeles hotel room, he made one final chilling phone call to Bun B. According to people close to them, Pimp told Bun straight up to watch his back. And here's the thing, Pimp C was never the type to speak in riddles or sugarcoat. If he had a problem with you, if he had an issue with the industry, he said it with his chest loud and clear. That raw honesty made him a real threat in certain circles, because you always knew he meant every single word he spoke. And right before his passing, Pimp started talking way too much for some people's comfort. He was on a mission, pulling no punches, naming names, and calling out the biggest figures in the game. He pointed fingers at Jay-Z, accusing him of allegedly playing UGK dirty on royalties.
Gay rappers is. I know who let them models stick them dildos in them, and I know who did what, where, when, and why.
Wow.
So
do you feel like expressing that right now?
Yeah,
Go ahead, no.
Say this again.
If you feel like saying it, go ahead.
Say this again. I'm proud of all the rappers in the South. I'm proud of everybody selling records in Atlanta. But everybody ain't my friend, and I don't like all y'all records. Now, if you want to diss me and get out, but see, you work at a radio station, and it's your job to ask me that question, and me being a real person is my job to know how to answer.
He dragged label executives through the mud, exposed fake street rappers, and even threw shade at moguls living double lives. Yep, Pimp C was turning the volume all the way up, and suddenly, just like that, he was gone. The autopsy labeled it complications from sleep apnea mixed with codeine, but for those who knew Pimp's history, his rivalries, and that last eerie phone call, the story just doesn't add up. Even his own mother stood up publicly, saying she believed her son didn't just pass naturally, she claimed someone poisoned him. So what exactly did Pimp C warn Bun B about in that last phone call?
All over the country. It wasn't like that back then. You could fly on an airplane and go to different places. In every city you went to, they had a different song on the chart. Might have been a local artist that was #1 at the time. But everywhere we went, somebody had a different record.
What had him so convinced that people were plotting against him, and what really went down in that hotel room that night? Pimp C was never the type to play nice when it came to exposing the music industry. Especially during those final interviews before his sudden passing in 2007, he was fired up about how Southern artists like himself and Bun B were constantly exploited, overlooked, and disrespected by big labels and powerful executives. In one of his final sit-downs with XXL magazine, Pimp straight up tore into the shady business, saying these people cared more about controlling the product and milking the culture for profit than ever giving artists the respect and fair checks they truly deserved. But XXL didn't let him slide. They tried flipping the script, accusing Pimp of being the one holding UGK back with his unfiltered mouth. They even asked him if he felt guilty for putting Bun B in a group with a man who was, in their words, too bullheaded and unfiltered. And Pimp wasn't having it. He clapped back hard, telling them, "You've been programmed to think I'm bullheaded. I just know what's really going on." Then he dropped bombs nobody saw coming.
When these two companies bought up all the radio stations and started controlling all the playlists and started putting handcuffs and bracelets on the DJs, they stopped all that. So everywhere you go, you hear the same record playing.
He claimed he knew which rappers were living double lives behind closed doors, who was faking their street stories, and who was really out here moving weight versus who just rapped about it. He even pointed out Slim Thug as the only rapper he personally saw rolling through Houston's malls solo. No bodyguards, no entourage, just a man standing on his own. Meanwhile, others, surrounded by security at all times. How you gonna be scared of the same neighborhood you claim you represent? That's exactly how Pimp C came at Houston rappers who thought they were stars. He told them straight up, "Ain't no stars down here, only stars in the sky." That line hit like a bomb because Pimp wasn't impressed by flashy chains, fake crews, or inflated egos. He wanted realness and nothing less.
I think he was poisoned, and there was someone with him when he passed who was a very shady strange character. So there is actually a person of interest.
For Pimp C, authenticity was the only currency that mattered. He had zero patience for rappers putting on an act, pretending to be street when they never lived it. To him, those were corporate puppets, manufactured by labels to sell records but empty when it came to culture and respect. He would drag anybody who faked the grind, no matter how big their name was, because in his eyes, the truth always cut deeper than any chart position.
He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and took his love. I'm saying, Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit. Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough. You just want to go down there and you want to just remove all of the balls from every real gangster in Houston.
And Pimp didn't just stop at local clout chasers. He went right at the East Coast industry gatekeepers. He called them out for hating on Southern rap, trying to box artists like him and Bun B out of the spotlight. Both men would later explain how Southern rappers were treated like outsiders. They brought the hits, they built movements, they ran the streets, but when it came to recognition and financial credit, the suits up north kept shutting the door. Bun B saw it as a cycle of exploitation, but Pimp turned the heat up even higher. He wasn't afraid to press names others wouldn't dare touch, including Jay-Z himself. Even after the success of Big Pimpin', Pimp and Bun were loud about feeling cheated out of both money and proper recognition. Pimp C looked at Jay-Z as a man who disrespected legends like Tupac, and that alone was enough to set him off. For Pimp, Pac wasn't just another rapper. He was a symbol of realness, a voice for the struggle, and proof you could fight back against corporate vultures in the game. So, when Jay threw shade at Pac, Pimp C felt like it exposed how far Jay had drifted away from the culture he claimed to represent. Now, when UGK linked with Jay for the 2000 smash hit, Big Pimpin', oh, the streets were lit.
Movements in the South that were very vital to a lot of people, and had certain things not happened, then the people that you see on TV today would not be there.
Yeah, like a Swap House, I guess. With
Absolutely, Swap House is a perfect example of that. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of different record companies. I mean, you look at, you're just with Florida with them nominating Luke and the 2 Live Crew, which is, of course, the forebearers. But then, you know, you had Slip and Slide come out of that who did numbers, you know what I'm saying?
That record was everywhere, blasting from every car, every club, every radio station. But behind the scenes, man, it was tense, real tense. Pimp C wasn't the kind of man to hop on just any record, especially not one tied to somebody he didn't respect. And from day one, Jay's vibe rubbed him the wrong way. A lot of it went back to Jay's history of slick comments about Tupac. In the South, Pac's name carried heavy loyalty, and Pimp stood on that 10 toes down. According to UGK's then manager Tony Draper, when Rockefeller tried throwing money at the problem, Dame Dash even pulled out $1 million check just to get Pimp on board. But Pimp wasn't going for it. Taylor later revealed that Pimp told him flat out, give that money to Tupac's mama instead. What Pimp didn't realize, though, was that Jay was already on the line listening to every word of that conversation. Talk about awkward. Eventually, yes, Pimp agreed to jump on Big Pimpin'. But don't get it twisted. He and Jay were never cool like that. Not before, not after. Bun B himself admitted he had to work some serious reverse psychology just to get Pimp to even think about the collab.
So I called him instantly because I knew y'all niggas at the house. Right. I was like, yo, I'm excited. I got $1 million. This is it. Rockefeller is the shit. Hey, that's the shit. I called Pimp and these niggas fight. So I calmed them down. And then once Pimp locked in, he was like, wait a minute, Rockefeller. Ain't that where Jay-Z at? I was like, yeah. And I didn't get the connection. I was like, he was like, tell him to take that check over to Tupac mama and give it to him for stealing all Tupac shit. And I'm like, what?
I put him on that Pac life, boy. he went, once I let him hear that Tupac, he went on his mission.
And here's where the story takes an even darker turn. Jaguar Wright came out claiming Jay-Z didn't just try to block Pimp C's career. She straight up believes Jay may have had a hand in what happened to him in that hotel room. In early December 2007, Pimp C was checked into the Mondrian Hotel in West Hollywood, focused on music and prepping for an upcoming show with Too Short. Everything looked normal until the morning of December 4th. which just so happened to also be Jay-Z's birthday. That was the day Pimp was supposed to fly back home. But when his wife Chinara and his cousin Ed didn't hear from him at the airport, alarms started going off. Chinara called the hotel, staff went to his room, and that's when they found Pimp C unresponsive. He was only 33 years old, and the news sent shockwaves across hip-hop.
Yeah, Jay heard him. He heard him, because I had to jump up and apologize for this nigga to clean that shit up quick, because I was like, I didn't realize he was in the room. So when I seen Hov there, I was like, oh. And so I told him he had to come down and go see them and go talk to mama and go to lunch with, go to dinner with them and sit down and do it the right way, because that's just how Pimp did it. If you didn't sit down and eat dinner with him and his mama, he ain't gonna break bread with you. That was just the game. Like, that's how he was raised. He had studied music. It was different, man. He knew music from the Conservatory of Music of Art. He had studied from an orchestra standpoint. His mom had invested in his career.
The coroner later labeled it accidental, saying Pimp passed from a mix of codeine use and sleep apnea, but not everyone bought that story. Too many things just didn't add up, and the timing alone had fans raising eyebrows. DJ Paul from 3 6 Mafia added more fuel to the fire when he said he got a call from Pimp's manager Rick Martin, who had seen the body with his own eyes. And according to Rick, the scene did not look natural at all. He described the room as looking wild, like something violent had gone down, with marks and splatters that didn't match the peaceful story officials gave. He said Pimp was lying down as if he had been praying, but there were stains around him that sparked suspicion something else had happened. They even thought he might have been shot at first.
We didn't have that relationship. And to be honest, I don't think Pimp would have accepted a Jay-Z verse to be of equal value to him. So let's just break this bread and be done with it.
Right.
And to be honest, Pimp and Jay didn't really have a relationship in that sense. There was a lot of mutual respect, but Hov and I were always closer. Right. You know what I'm saying? I ended up getting a feature. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But no, it was really just about, like, we worked very hard to get where we are, and we're successful now for being purely who we have always said we were, riding dirty.
Pimp C was found knelt down like he was praying, and the detail that really shook people, those tall candles he always lit before sleeping were completely burned down. That told insiders he had likely been gone for at least a full day before anyone even realized it. The image was eerie, and it left too many unanswered questions about what really happened inside that hotel room. But the mystery didn't stop there. Word inside the circle was that Pimp's mother, Westlyn Mama West Monroe, was absolutely convinced her son had been poisoned. She never believed the official story, not for a second. Mama West had stood by Pimp through every chapter of his career, and she swore that what the authorities wrote down on paper didn't line up with the son she knew so well. Journalist Julia Beverly, who wrote Sweet Jones, Pimp C's Trill life story, confirmed that Mama West held firm to her belief until the end.
So to be who he was, so by the time people seen him, it was the counterculture of discovering hip hop and rap down there. And they were like a country version of Run DMC, him and Bun.
Great artists.
Or the
artists.
new Ghetto Boys. It was like Jay Prince had them as the new Ghetto Boys. That's what they were. And luckily, the nigga moved to Atlanta. We was able to get him with Short, and Short just put the game down, and the rest was history.
Right.
So that caused a ruckus, because when they missed the first 2 Jay-Z albums because of it. And the next time around, I knew not to call Pimp, because him and Jazzy was beefing.
According to Julia, Pimp's mother believed somebody had been in that hotel room with him that night, and that person wasn't there to bring peace. They were there to bring harm. The rumors only got louder after Mama West spoke her truth. People in Houston and beyond started whispering that Pimp C's passing wasn't some random accident, it was a setup. Fans pointed out how Pimp had just started calling out big names, exposing secrets, and talking about money trails in interviews. Suddenly, his words felt like warnings instead of just rants. And here's where it gets wild. Some insiders claimed that Pimp had been paranoid in those final weeks. He was reportedly telling close friends to watch the people around them, hinting that powerful industry figures didn't want him speaking out.
Most critically acclaimed album we ever released, gold album, not one music video. You know what I'm saying? And to get to that point and to possibly in his mind throw it all away, because this dude want to pay you some money to do a verse on a beat that you would never rap to, you know what I'm saying? It just seemed like a lot, and it took a lot to kind of bring him back around. to the idea of being a part of it, to the point where I just like reverse psychology. Like, fuck it, don't do it then. Fuck it. Like, don't even worry about it. Fuck it. We ain't even gonna do it. I'm just telling me we ain't gonna do it. You don't want to do it. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? All right, Pee Wee. Fuck it. I'm a doubt. But Big Pimpin' was not like in his top 10 UGK songs. Like,
he didn't even want to do another one.
Those conversations, mixed with Mama Wes's belief that her son was poisoned, had people convinced that this wasn't just bad luck, it was bigger than that. Even Julia Beverly admitted that the vibe surrounding Pimp's last days was strange. She said Pimp was moving differently, almost like he knew the walls were closing in. Combine that with the fact that he was in LA, far from his home turf in Houston, and folks started asking why he was even left alone in that hotel room in the first place. Once the streets caught wind of Mama Wes's suspicions, the theories started flying everywhere. Fans weren't just whispering, they were straight up naming names. Some said industry moguls wanted Pimp C silenced because he was pulling receipts on how Southern rappers were being shortchanged. Others pointed fingers at rival artists who felt threatened by his raw honesty and weren't ready for the smoke he was bringing. And the wildest part, Pimp himself had already been hinting at this. In his last interviews, he claimed he knew exactly who was living double lives, who was lying in their raps, and who was really pulling strings behind the curtains. So when he suddenly passed, people took those statements like breadcrumbs, leading them to believe the same folks he called out might have had something to gain from shutting him down.
Why did that house burn up? Who the fuck goes to their childhood house for a visit and the shit goes up in flames?
That was very weird. The next day, within the week?
No, the next day.
The next day.
And still, no real investigation on how the house just went up in flames.
Man.
I guess they paid y'all off.
Meanwhile, Bun B was left carrying the weight of it all. He didn't just lose a partner, he lost a brother, a movement, a piece of UGK that could never be replaced. And even though Bun stayed composed in public, insiders say he was torn up behind the scenes, especially with all the conspiracy talk swirling around. Fans expected him to step out and point fingers too, but Bun stayed careful, choosing his words wisely while still protecting Pimp's legacy. Now circling back to that haunting final call between Pimp C and Bun B, it still gives chills. The fact that Pimp warned Bun to watch his back says everything. He wasn't just talking loosely, he clearly felt heavy pressure from the industry and from people he believed were watching his every move. Pimp C wasn't the type to get paranoid over nothing. He always stood firm in what he saw and heard. He understood exactly how the game worked, and he knew who was really pulling strings behind the curtains. That last warning wasn't just casual talk. It sounded like genuine concern from a man who had been seeing too much, saying too much, and was brave enough to call it out loud. And that's why fans still question the official story. Was his passing truly accidental, or was there more going on in that hotel room than what the reports told us? The timing, the details, and the whispers from insiders keep the mystery alive to this day. So now I'm asking you, what do you think? Do you believe Pimp C knew somebody was trying to silence him, or do you take the official explanation at face value? Drop your thoughts in the comments, share this with your people, and don't forget to subscribe, because you already know what's coming next in our hood is about to get even crazier.